Hi, welcome to this week's Droplet of Love. Thank you for listening. My name is Elizabeth Cunningham. I am the host of Love Dripping from the Walls podcast, and I'm so happy to bring you this Droplet of Love episode this week. If you just first orders of business, whatever platform that you are listening to this on, if you like and love these videos and audios that I am putting out, please hit that subscribe button, the like button. Please give me a review on whatever platform you're listening to. If you happen to be on Anchor, you can go ahead and subscribe to my account. You can also become a monthly contributor if you would like to be a monthly contributor. This is something that I do to make a living. So if you would like to hear more about what I have to offer and bring inside of the realm of love, please consider being a monthly contributor and hit that subscribe button on anchor.fm. All right, thank you all so much for listening. And today we are going to be talking, I say we, but I'm going to be talking to you about compassion fatigue. And the reason that I wanted to talk about compassion fatigue, well, let's start with what is compassion fatigue. So compassion fatigue, and I actually looked up the definition here, is indifference to charitable appeals on behalf of those who are suffering, experienced as a result of the frequency or number of such appeals. Now, for all of us who all of us, let's just start there. All of us are experiencing a lot inside of this COVID-19 world that we find ourselves in right now. You know, most of us have not lived through a global pandemic. This is a new thing that we are dealing with. There's a lot of emotions that have come up, and because of the physical distancing that most of us have in place, depending on what country you're listening from, or what city or state that you're listening from. If you're inside of the United States, depends on the state that you're listening from as well. There's a different amount of physical distancing that we're experiencing that we're not normally experiencing. There's people asking for help. There's organizations asking for help. There are different debates on social media about what we should and shouldn't do. There's just a whole litany of things happening right now. And as human beings, taking in all of that information, sometimes that can be really overwhelming. And I know that for some people, their normal mental or emotional self-care has taken a hit because maybe they can't go see their counselor. Maybe there's groups that you meet up with in person that really bolster your mental and emotional health and well-being that you're not participating in a connected way as we were. I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls and meetings, Zoom with my family, friends, different, organizations, business Zoom calls, so I am in contact with people on a regular basis via Zoom, but that is certainly not the same thing as being around people, especially for someone like me who is extroverted, and I do feed off of the energy of other people. Being around other people really lights me up, and that is part of my mental and emotional well-being, is being around people. So certainly, even for myself, I've been experiencing some compassion fatigue just based off of all of those factors that are happening in our world right now. And so what I want to say, my intention for talking about compassion fatigue with you all is to have myself included, to have us have a renewed sense of compassion and have the ability to generate our compassion for ourselves and the compassion that we have for other people. So I have a couple of things today that I think will help when we're examining this for ourselves, gathering that compassion. And if you want to learn a little bit more about why compassion and empathy are so important, I'm not going to delve super deep into, hopefully you already know why compassion and empathy are so important for not only the health of ourselves, but for the health of the people that we interact with on a regular basis. And also compassion and empathy, depending on the platform that you have, whether maybe you're a public figure or an influencer, or you're a leader of an organization, or you have a team of people that you lead at work, or even just a parent, you're leading the way for your family and your children right now. Compassion and empathy are part of the source of what has people be mentally and emotionally well, period, and to have people be mentally and emotionally well around you. So that's just a tiny bit of why compassion and empathy are so important. I would highly recommend the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. I'll put that in the show notes. But if you want to delve even deeper into that topic of emotional intelligence, why having emotional intelligence is so important, please read the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. It's an amazing read. It literally changed my life. So with that, I'm just going to have a little bit of tips and tricks today to regenerate, have you have the ability to regenerate your compassion and empathy. And also, before I say that, I'm not saying that you have zero compassion and empathy. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what compassion fatigue is. Compassion fatigue is not, oh, I had compassion and now I have zero. It's, I had a certain level of compassion. Maybe you were at a 10 and now you're kind of somewhere around a 7 where you're just like, okay, well, yeah, people have problems and I can't solve all the world's problems, and what am I supposed to do? And just that beginning stages of helplessness, or like, how can why would it even be expected of me to contribute to something so ginormous? And so that would kind of sound like the beginnings of compassion fatigue, that like, why should I even care? Why should I even bother? I have my own stuff to deal with. That's the beginning of compassion fatigue. So it's not like you don't care about people anymore, because I know that you do. By virtue of you listening to this, I know that you care about people. It's that slight waning, that slight trickling down of compassion, that, again, I know that I have experienced. And so these are some of the things also that I've been advising people around, and this is also something that I'm doing myself consistently. So yes, we are at a point in time where many people, including ourselves, are experiencing anxiety, uncertainty, hopelessness, anger, irritability. So if you find yourself in a category somewhere around there, I just want you to know, first of all, that it's okay to be feeling exactly how you're feeling. Me talking about compassion and regenerating your compassion is in no way invalidating any feelings of hopelessness, anger, or irritability that you may have. It is really okay to be feeling however you are feeling. And then in feeling that, it's also okay for others to be feeling that. That's part of the compassion. It's okay for your spouse or your coworkers or your family member or, people, strangers. It's okay. It is okay for people to feel angry, irritable, hopeless. It's part of being human. So let's just start there and give ourselves a little bit of compassion for just feeling the feelings of being human. Let's just start there. And then notice how you're feeling let it be okay, but then don't indulge in that feeling of hopelessness, anger, irritability. So, for example, I'm feeling irritated because of X instead of, and then just period. I'm feeling irritated because of X. Okay, period. The sky is blue, the grass is green, and X is really irritating to me right now in this moment. Okay, that's it. That's all. And then not needing to interact with that any farther. So interacting it farther would look like, I'm feeling really irritated because of X. And you know what else happened today? Y. And you know what this other person said to me? Z. And that's why I'm just having a terrible day and I'm just irritated and this is stupid and I am just going to just not interact with people for the rest of the day because this is just a terrible idea. That would be an example of indulging in those irritated feelings, letting that irritation completely take you out of a situation instead of just noticing those feelings of irritation or anxiety or hopelessness or anger or whatever it happens to be, and just letting yourself feel those feelings instead of indulging and taking it a step further to have it actually take you out of life. So that's the third thing. And the fourth thing is breathe. I know it sounds really simple and it sounds really almost mundane or overused, but really, there are studies on taking a moment to just breathe. Count to 10. It's all those things that we tell kids, take yourself away, count to 10, breathe. As an adult, those tactics still work. They're still appropriate. Let yourself calm down. Take yourself from that take yourself from the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, and let yourself come back down to the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. Count your breath. My suggestion is, if you're not used to letting your breath calm you down, one thing that you can do is count your breath. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Maybe give yourself a word. Give yourself a word like love, compassion, peace, honesty. Even something just as simple as, I say the word nothing. That's my word. I say nothing, 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 nothing. Just letting my mind empty, letting all of those thoughts that start to spiral out of control, letting them subside and come back to my breath. And then the fifth thing that I suggest is, what is the result that you want? Now that you've calmed yourself down, we've taken ourselves out of that super irritated state, we've taken ourselves away from those hopeless feelings, we've taken ourselves down from the anger. Okay, now think about the situation in terms of, what's your intention here? What is the result that you want? Really bringing intentionality to whatever it is that you're dealing with. If it's a conversation with your spouse, maybe the intention is, I want this conversation to be resolved productively. I want my spouse to feel heard. I want to bring a level of respect, love, connection. Maybe if you're at work and you're having a conversation with your team, it's, my intention is that we all collaborate together and listen to one another. That's my intention. My intention is that everyone is heard. My intention is that everyone on this team wins and triumphs in some way. What is the intention? What is the value that you're bringing to that situation, right? Really bringing yourself, now that you've calmed yourself down, now how do you want to bring yourself forward? Okay. So then the last thing that I will give you, these are not the only things that you can do, by the way, but the last thing that I'll give you in our compassion fatigue is to take a moment of appreciation and gratitude for all the things that you do have. Maybe it's in this particular situation, something that you can be grateful for. Maybe it's being grateful for your spouse, being grateful for your kids, being grateful for your team, whatever that is, being grateful that you have a roof over your head, being grateful that you had lunch today, being grateful that the sun is out, even being grateful if it's raining, being grateful for the rain. The rain is amazing, right? Just give yourself a moment to be grateful. And I would also implore you to take it a step further than that. Not just being grateful for that moment, but create a gratitude journal. Create a gratitude journal so that you write right before you go to bed, right before you go to bed, 5 things that you are grateful for. And again, it doesn't have to be huge things. It can be, I'm grateful for that I'm going to bed in a bed. I'm grateful that I have clean sheets. I am grateful that my kids are asleep. I am grateful that my wife loves me. I am grateful that my husband did the dishes today. Does not have to be huge things to be grateful for. And if you have huge things to be grateful for, definitely write those down. Absolutely write those down. I'm grateful that I bought a house recently. I didn't buy a house recently, but whatever that is for you. So just bringing that, taking yourself not only into the realm of compassion for yourself and others, but taking it a step further into gratitude, appreciating yourself and the world around you. But it always starts with you, right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for being someone of compassion. Thank you for loving. Thank you for being someone of gratitude and appreciation. I know that you wouldn't be listening to this if this wasn't something that you were committed to. So thank you for spreading that in the world. And if you have any comments, questions, feedback, please get a hold of me at lovedrippingfromthewalls@gmail.com. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Love Dripping From The Walls. You can find me on Facebook, Love Dripping From The Walls. I'm here for you. I'm here for all of your love needs, and I just love you all to pieces, and I am so grateful for you. Thank you. Keep listening and keep loving.